In 1977, my life changed forever. I was a chubby little 9-year-old with a mop of dark curly hair and an adventurous spirit. And I was utterly captivated by the story of a young princess who became a soldier and didn't need anyone to rescue her. She was a freedom fighter battling an oppressive regime. That princess was Leia, and that story was Star Wars. Princess Leia became a role model for many women of my generation. She was smart, witty, and brave, and didn't show her vulnerability. She was a new kind of heroine, one we'd never seen on the screen before. But I didn't know it at the time how much I was going to need that Princess Leia-like courage and strength over the coming years. So just after Star Wars debuted, I was in grade 4, and I'd been off school for a whole week. And when I got back to my class, my friends gathered round and asked, "Tammy, how are you?" But before I could even answer, I saw Cherry, the class tough girl, heading my way with a smug look on her face. And she said to me, "I know why you were away. Your mum died." And everyone looked at me, waiting for me to react. I didn't. I put on a mask, but inside it felt like I'd been punched hard in the guts. I just wanted to melt away and vanish instantly from that classroom. But she was right. My mum had died from cancer a week earlier. She was 43 years old. Her name was Salma, and she resembled a brunette Grace Kelly. And she loved Chanel No. 5, and I remember how her eyes used to crinkle up in the corners when she smiled. And her favourite song was by the Aussie band Sherbet. Now, they were big in the 70s, and the lyrics go something like this. No, it wasn't Summer Loving, it was called Life. Life is for living. I can't waste 1 minute. I've got hopes, I've got dreams, I've got eyes that have seen. I've got life. My mum was 28 years old when she married my dad in 1962. Before that, she was the principal of a girls' college in Pakistan, and she earned her degree, a master's degree in literature. Rare achievements for a woman of her time and place. She was my anchor. She was my guide. And now she was gone. And I was still in shock and nowhere near coming to terms with the trauma, but Cherry's taunt made me redouble my efforts to maintain a stoic facade. I was determined to keep on that mask and not let anyone, not even my dad or my older brother and sister, see how lost, alone, and heartbroken I actually felt. I grew up 10 years in those 10 minutes. I became the young princess soldier I had so admired, and I kept that mask on for decades, not wanting to get a chink in my carefully constructed armour. I didn't want to be weak. I didn't want to be vulnerable. But most of all, I didn't want to be different. And yet everything was different. I was different. When we're young, we try so hard to conform, to blend in. But as we get older, we learn that it's our unique stories that shape us into who we are. And I've come to realise that my difference is my strength. Many of us put on a mask and we try and dull the pain and the fear of past traumas and challenges. But eventually, the thing that we are running away from, the thing we're trying to avoid, confronts us face to face one day or another. It took me 40 years to learn how to tell my story. It took me 40 years to even realize that I was wearing a mask. In an age that glorifies an insta-perfect life, I want to remind people to really embrace and cherish their unique and often heartbreaking stories, their traumas and their triumphs. When I took off that mask, I found my voice. When I got up on stage to tell my story for the first time, I was terrified of sharing my innermost thoughts and feelings with an audience of strangers. It felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff about to jump off, and instead of falling flat on my face, I soared sky high. There was this incredible connection with the audience. It was electric. I felt completely liberated and empowered. I wasn't running away from my fears or my feelings anymore. I was facing them head on. So in the end, just like Princess Leia, I didn't need anyone to rescue me. I became a storyteller, and I rescued myself. Since I've learnt the art of live storytelling, I've come to understand the incredible power of this medium. Sharing our stories allows us to open our hearts and our minds to listen and truly, deeply connect with one another. We all have a storyteller inside of us. We all have the power to rescue ourselves. So it's time to drop the mask and to truly be our authentic, messy, and glorious selves for all the world to see.